Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tanya, and this is my cat Samara. She's gonna sit here with me for a minute while I do my intro. Today we are reacting to Ellie Majelli. I am doing these kind of out of order. Her videos, I know that I'm doing that. I apologize. But this is her newest one, and I wanted to watch it. But also, it was suggested in Discord a few days ago. So I Tika wanted to say hi. So I wanted to go ahead and watch this one. It also is really interesting to me because this one's called Reverse Culture Shocks in America after 2 years abroad in Australia. So I am really curious to see what it felt like going back to America after living in somewhere like Australia. I feel like maybe her age would make it maybe easier for someone like her to integrate back into different cultures and stuff easier. I feel like being younger, it's just easier to do that maybe. Also the fact that she was born in Australia, these are all things that might play a different sort of role in her brain. I don't know, but we're gonna see what her different culture shocks are. I'm sure there's a lot of things that happened in the last couple of years that maybe she just didn't know was going on here, or something that maybe she noticed. I don't know. Things like that are always happening.
Hello everybody! We are in the amazing California, if you can't tell how absolutely sunny it is outside. And also we do have some American outlets out here, so you know I'm not lying. I am very excited for today's video because we're gonna be talking—
yeah, I did hear that we have weird outlets. I don't know. I think the Australia ones are more similar to like British outlets or European outlets where you have like a on and off thing on it, which Americans find very weird because we don't have an on and off switch on our stuff.
About reverse culture shocks. Now, reverse culture shocks are where you've lived in another country, then come back to your original country, and you're like, wait, this is really how we do stuff here? A bit of a backstory, but I was born in Australia, lived over in California for like 15 years of my life. That's why I have this American accent now. But then I moved over to Australia and I've been living there for the past 2 years. So I haven't visited California in that past 2 years. I've forgotten enough about California, so now when I'm back here, I'm like, it's genuinely shocking. I had some preconceptions coming to California, and I was actually proved wrong more times than I thought. But we'll get into it all in today's video. First of all, you can kind of already tell from—
I just want to remind everybody, California is very much its own entity. California is very different than a lot of states. They do have like maybe higher gas prices and they're just more of everything. They're just more everything. But I just wanted to remind everybody that not all things that are happening in California are also happening everywhere else. California is very much its own place.
The background too, but California actually has the best freaking weather. Also, if you don't know, I actually live over in Melbourne. So with that, Melbourne doesn't really have the best weather. The weather is pretty up and down all the time. Although I feel like in 2025, the start of this year, we actually had pretty decent weather. Like it wasn't terrible. But coming to California, every single day is sunny. I looked at the weather app.
I guarantee you that Melbourne has better weather than Illinois. And yeah, California does have very beautiful weather though. Like Northern California, it snows up there and they get cold winters and things like that. Even in the Bay Area, it can get kind of cold. But Southern California is kind of always warm.
Every single day it was like 26, 27. I feel like other people can relate to this too, because in Melbourne, anytime that there's a sunny day, I'm like, oh my God, I need to go have the absolute best day ever. I need to be outside. I need to be present. I need to make sure that I'm like soaking up the rays and like doing something fun with my friends. And if I'm not, I feel like I absolutely wasted the day because I know that a sunny day is probably not going to come around for like another week or so.
Your age.
So being here, it's such a luxury to just have it be sunny all the time. And I mean, that's obviously why so many people live here. But I even was talking to my mom about it as well, because she is like Australian born, lived her whole life in Australia, and then moved to California when we were kids. So because of that, she was like, it is so much easier to plan kids' birthday parties because you can just do it outside. You don't need a venue, or do it in the rain or something. Like in California, you can just bet that.
That is so true. Just like California, like you see sometimes outdoor schools. And when I first saw that, I thought that was like the strangest thing I had ever seen in my whole entire life. An outdoor school. We don't have nice days in Illinois. Like our nice days, even our nice days, are either scorching hot to where you're going to get heat stroke outside and like the humidity is really insane. Or it's like raining or tornadoes or it's freezing. Like there's never like just mild weather. Very rarely is there just a nice day. That doesn't really happen.
It's gonna be sunny most of the time. On the other hand, I didn't think the UV...
And yeah, so because of that, we have to constantly have indoor venues for birthday parties and stuff. I mean, I've done my kids' birthday parties at parks and stuff before, but we were drenched in sweat by the end of it. It was hot. Their birthdays are in August, which is one of the hottest months for us. So yeah, we often have to do indoor things.
Days were going to be that intense. Boy, was I wrong. I was like, I deal with Australian sun. You know, we have a hole in the ozone layer. I'm so scared of the sun over there that here in California, I was like, great, I can be out all day and, you know, I can wear a little bit of sunscreen. I don't really have to reapply as much. I was so wrong. I should have just looked at the UV index on the weather app, but I was dumb. And I got burned on my shoulders. We were at graduation last week and I was out in the sun all day. Seriously, there was probably like 20 people who got bad burns. Not like bad to where like, you know, Australia bad burns, but they definitely got red. Everyone's faces were red. I even reapplied sunscreen on my face and I still had a little bit of a red dot on my nose where I like missed a spot. The UV is still freaking real here. I mean, I'm someone who really cares about weather. Ironic because I live in Melbourne. But being here, I'm like, whoa. It actually is improving my mood so much that it's sunny all the time. But this is the problem when you have really good weather.
I'm the kind of person who doesn't wear sunscreen all the time. I don't naturally burn. The only time I ever got a burn was like funny enough in a tanning bed. But I don't really burn. I've gotten a little bit of pinkness maybe on my cheeks or nose if I was out for the first time in summer, the first time my skin has seen sun in 9 months, and I was out maybe an entire day. Maybe my face get a little bit pink, but other than that, my skin doesn't burn. I have very Native American skin, but if I were to go to Australia in the summertime, or at any time, I guess, where there's nice weather, I would definitely put on the sunscreen just because I don't want to test that.
Everyone wants to be in the place with the good weather. So because of that, the amount of people that are here, it's actually insane. I can't remember the exact population numbers. I'll put them up in the corner for Melbourne versus the Bay Area. But there are just so many people here and a lot of traffic happens because of that. I forgot about it, but there are times where you simply cannot go out of your house because all of the highways are just completely blocked. So anytime in the morning around like 9 a.m. when people start work, packed, gridlock, like you can't freaking move. People complain sometimes about the traffic in Melbourne, and I'm like, swear to God, you've never been to California because the traffic here is insane. It's so bad.
I don't know how bad the traffic is in the Bay Area specifically, because when I was there, I was being driven around by my aunt and uncle. I was a child. But, so I don't really know how bad the traffic is. But Chicago has the third worst traffic in the States. Boston has the second worst traffic. Or is it Boston? I think it's Boston. And then Washington, D.C. has first worst traffic in the States. Either that or I got DC and Boston mixed up. But either way, those are the three cities that have the worst traffic in the United States. And I know how bad Chicago traffic is, and it's a nightmare.
It pretty much will like double or triple the time that it normally takes. You also can't leave the house anywhere after like 3 p.m. Maybe you can squeeze it a little bit around 3 p.m., but that's when school is over for all the kids. So there's like kids pick up and drop off. Then on top of that too, people get off work at 5 p.m. So really it's gridlock from like 3 to like 6 or 7 p.m. on
That's
any
like
of the
that here
highways.
too,
And you know,
times.
I've been stuck in traffic a couple times already while being here because I totally forgot about, you know, those times. I think I was on Highway 101 or something. I was looking around. Almost every single car is a Tesla. No, okay, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but there are so many Teslas. There were times where I took a photo of like a parking lot. 5 of those cars will be Teslas. It's crazy. I'll show you a couple examples.
I'm gonna be honest. The people in my Discord know this already. I'm not a car girl. I cannot name you any car, hardly any at all. They all look the same to me. However, when something does stand out and look unique, you know, different than the rest of them, that's when I pay attention to a car. And that's when I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool looking, you know? I like unique cars. To me, everything else just looks the same. Half the time I tell people, like if they ask me what kind of car I drive, half the time I tell them the wrong thing because I don't even know my own car.
Too. Because I was like, damn, there are just so many Teslas. And obviously Elon, he's been a little problematic. So a lot of people have these stickers like anti-Elon stickers or like I bought this before Elon or something like that. It's interesting. I feel like I'm noticing this in Australia too, but people are like not really loving the Teslas and they're a little bit embarrassed to own a Tesla. Also, I never see these in Australia really, but they have so many Cybertrucks here. I mean, design wise, I do not think that they look that cool. They're kind of an eyesore.
They look weird. They very much look weird. But like I said, they stand out and look uniquely different than everything else around them. So my eye goes directly to it. And I like that. Like I'm the, just to explain my personality a little bit, I'm the kind of person who does not go with what's popular. I'm the kind of person who does not do things because other people are doing it. I very much walk to the beat of my own drum. I do my own thing. I do what I'm interested in. And whether that be clothing style, makeup style, hairstyle, TV shows I watch, music I listen to, literally anything, I never do anything because it's popular. That's just not who I am. So I would never go out and buy a Cybertruck because people are buying Cybertrucks and it's cool to do or whatever. I would never buy one, but I do think they look cool. They look weird, but they look cool. Kind of neat.
To me, sorry for all the Cybertruck fans out there. We even were driving down this like main street and there's a Tesla dealership or whatever, and they had a ton of Cybertrucks.
Jeez.
My dad was saying they're having trouble selling them because of what Elon is doing. Pretty crazy. And then also while we were driving down, there were people outside protesting Elon Musk and had these giant signs outside of the Tesla dealership. I was like, this is crazy. But still, there are so many Cybertrucks running around. Every time I see one, I was like, whoa, oh my God, a Cybertruck. Another thing to add about the cars too is how damn fast people are driving around here. When my dad picked me up from the airport, we immediately like went out onto the highway because that's just where the airport goes to. And he was driving, I think 65 miles per hour, which is about like, I think it's like 110 kilometers per hour. And immediately I was like, every car drives so fast. Because I'm used to anytime, you know, you go on the highway in Australia, you just kind of sit at the speed because the cops like really will bust you if you go like even 3 kilometers over the speed limit. In America, they just don't care. I don't know. They only care if you go like 20 plus miles per hour, which is even more in kilometers per hour, which is crazy. It was kind of funny because I wouldn't drive for a couple days and I would go onto the highway and I would just naturally sit at 60 miles per hour and people are speeding past me, like going so fast. The average speed that I feel like people drive around here is probably like anywhere between like 70 miles per hour and 80 miles per hour too.
I would have passed you.
And people would drive even faster than that too. There'd be people.
I drive fast even just in my town on streets that I have no business speeding on, but I do. I speed. I just can't do anything slow. Everything I do has to be fast.
going like 100 miles per hour, just like freaking speeding past you. So definitely like, I'm glad that I grew up learning how to drive in California, because if I came to this and I hadn't driven before, I think I would be so scared. Like, people are just out of control. Even in college, I remember we had a girl from Colorado, and over in Colorado it's a little bit more chill. Like, they don't really have as many people and as much traffic. But when she came here, she was like, what is going on? Like, Bay Area traffic is no joke. If you're thinking of coming over to California too, I'd say I would hope that you're a good driver. I'd like, it's just a little bit chaotic. At the same time, you do get a little bit used to it of just how people are driving. Just a forewarning if you're looking to visit.
Yeah, seriously, for real. Because I remember the first time I ever went up, I went to Chicago with my husband. And this is like, you know, I had been to Chicago before, but never like as an adult, you know, in my own car sort of thing, like in groups we went. But when the first time I went there with my husband and I saw the traffic and I saw how fast people were going, and I saw that in order for a car to just make it out of a spot and get onto a road at all, you have to pull out in front of another car at immediately 50 miles an hour. Like, that's the only way that you can get even onto a road sometimes. And I'm like, I'm the kind of person that I'll sit there and wait for it to go 10 miles an hour past me, one vehicle, before I turn. Because I'm a safe driver. Yeah, I like to speed, but I'm a safe driver, you know. But yeah, like, you have to like really just take off and go in front of these people just to be able to go anywhere at all. And I can't handle that. I could never do that.
Also, just cool cars in general. I just wanted to add this in because it's kind of cool. But in San Francisco, they have the Waymo cars, which are the ones that, you know, drive by themselves. And it's the weirdest feeling.
I've never
driving
seen one
next
of
to a
these.
car, you look inside, and there's no one in the car.
I would hate
no one
that.
in the car, and it's just driving around. Such a
hate
weird
that.
experience. Now, I
hate
can't
that.
talk about differences between Melbourne and another place without talking about the coffee. Like, genuinely, the coffee is so amazing in Melbourne that coming here, I immediately was let down. Oh, it was so hard. I mean, I'm not a huge coffee drinker anyways, but I do
Me neither.
enjoy drinking coffee. So my mom, because she is Australian, she gets like these really nice beans. So anytime we're drinking coffee at home, like, genuinely, it was really, really good coffee, very strong, very like Melbourne flavor. But anytime I'd go out, like, made a whole video about this, like, of trying the different restaurants and different like food places. And I tried Dunkin' Donuts yesterday. Oh my God. I was so let down. At first it tasted good, and then I was like, wait, this doesn't even taste like coffee. It didn't look like coffee. It would just look like flavored milk, really. Although I went this
basically
morning with
what
my
it
friend
is.
Perry because we did a photo shoot. Here.
That's why some people like Dunkin' though. Someone like me, I don't like the flavor of coffee. I don't want a strong coffee. Don't give me a strong ass coffee. I will pour lots of creamer and sugar in it because I want it to be sweet. And that's why I like Dunkin', because it's not strong. That's why I like it.
Or some of the pictures, they turn out amazing. And she took me to this one place. Dude. Guys, I think we have a redemption arc. Perry just took me to some great coffee in California. And it was $5. It wasn't even $9. It's this place called, what's it called?
Academic Coffee
Academic Coffee.
in San Jose, California.
Wait, it's actually pretty good.
It's
Like,
so good. Also, hey you guys, I'm back.
sorry, Perry didn't really feature in many of the vlogs this time around.
I got 0 features in any
This
of
is your
them.
feature right now.
This is my feature.
I think that's another thing that kind of shocked me too, just in addition to that, is the prices of things have so gone up. I think I bought a small Dunkin' Donuts drink for, I think, $6, and that's $6 US. So in Australian, it was something like $10, $11. You're buying a coffee, and then on top of that, it costs extra. No, thank you. And speaking of food too, I talk a lot about this.
I don't know if restaurants are more expensive in California. I have no idea. But prices of things are going up kind of everywhere. But specifically California, there are some things that are higher in California than even the rest of us.
In the other video that I posted too, but immediately noticed how salty things are and how sweet things are. Like, it's just a level above. Like, it's someone added like 20% more salt or 20% more sugar. And I found myself like having to drink so much more water because I was like, whoa, my taste buds have changed since being away for 2 years. It was very interesting to figure that out because I was like, oh no, the food's not that different. Like, it can't be that different, but it really was. I was shocked. This was so funny because I immediately noticed it when we started driving down our street back home. And that was how many damn American flags there are. In Australia, it's not really as big of a thing to put the Australian flag everywhere. I feel like it's a lot around maybe like government buildings or anything like that.
Thing.
But here it's like outside of everyone's house. And we actually drove to get like pizza from one place. And I was like, let me count how many flags are just along this main street. And you were probably driving along that main street for like 5 minutes. And I counted 16 American flags. Like there were just so many everywhere, like outside of shopping.
I love that. I love that about America. I love that we love our flag. I love that we are patriotic. I love that we love our country. And it's not that people are flying their flag to say that, yes, America is better than everyone else. It has nothing to do with it. If you learn the story about the American flag, then you would understand why we fly it and why it's so important to us. And I would assume that Ellie knows the importance of the American flag if she grew up in the States. But I love that we see American flags everywhere. I have one on my front porch, a small one, not a big one. And I have a tiny little handheld one. So I have American flags.
Outside a car dealership, like outside everything, there are so many American flags. Now, I know a lot of people know about the United States is that they tip on everything. And in Australia, I feel like I can speak for a lot of people, but we hate tipping. Tipping is just stupid because it's like included in the price already. Like even in Australia too, like GST and tax is already included. That was one thing I forgot about coming into California, and it was so annoying anytime going out with friends because I'm like, oh, okay, like the item says it's $14, but then I'd go up to pay and then it would be like, oh, it's $15.23. But then on top of that, they would also ask for a tip. And I was like, dang, this is so annoying. Because in my head, I'm like, okay, $14, I gotta change that into Australian dollars. So it's probably around this amount. Like, am I okay paying that amount? Yeah, okay, I think that's fine. And then there's also the tip on top. Like, it's genuinely so annoying because it's just added cost that you're not seeing at the beginning. Because in Australia, you see the price, that's what you pay for. But in America, there's all these added on costs, which I do not like. Also, I think in the past...
Well, I mean, people may not like it, but there is a very good reason why we do it the way we do it and why we don't change it.
2 years, the tipping has gotten even worse to where there are certain places now where...
That was about taxes, though. When it comes to the tipping, I am all about tipping your waiters and tipping your, cab driver and that sort of thing. I don't know, bartender, maybe throw him $1. I don't know. Who cares? It's a bar. But it's when other people expect you to tip them and they're not really doing anything for you. That's when I get mad. Like, people in the beauty industry will expect a tip, like if you cut their hair or something like that. And I will tip them if I like the job that they did on my hair, but I don't ever tip them if I feel just because I feel obligated to tip someone like that. And they also don't work for their tips anyway. I very much think it should just stick with the waiters and stuff and not everybody else.
They used to have like a customer service person that would, check you out. Now that at certain places, they have these little tablets where you go and make an order on there. They also ask for a tip there. Like, what are you doing? Why are you asking for a tip when there is no service?
That's so
I'm sure some people just pay a tip because they don't even notice or anything. Tipping is for a reason.
Stupid.
It's to show that you had a good service and you want to, pay it forward to that person because they gave you such a good service. Another thing around customer service, and you'll see it in my other video too, is I went to Chick-fil-A. So Chick-fil-A is known for their crazy customer service where every time they like give you your food or do something for you, they'll say my pleasure after. They'll be like, here's your meal. And you say, thank you. And they say my pleasure. And it's kind of like a running joke that a lot of people have that they say my pleasure. And I think someone was telling me too, if you say my pleasure before they say my pleasure, you get a free cookie or something. I don't know if that's actually real, but some of the customer service was so mixed. I went to this pizza restaurant when I first landed, and that was so interesting because I told my mom, I was like, why was that guy so mean to you when you were picking up the pizzas? And she was like, oh no, he was just being normal. All he was doing was like, oh, here you go, here's your pizza, this is how much it was. But he was just so flat with the way that he was talking, and I think it threw me off because with Australians, everyone's quite friendly and quite nice and would greet you and would be like, oh, hi, how are you, how you doing?
That is a person-to-person thing. That is not an American thing or an Australian thing or whatever. That is very much a person-to-person thing. I have people in this town who are very much flat when they hand me something and act like I'm not there. They're so busy doing their job. They got a lot of people in line or whatever. I understand. And then there's some people that you come across and they're so over the top bubbly and like really super friendly and want to help you. And it's just person to person. Americans are very friendly and talkative also. But also, she's in California. So I don't know how different it is in California, really, when it comes to service workers. I live in the Midwest. And in the Midwest, people here are just very friendly and talkative and bubbly and stuff like that anyway. So we'll talk to everybody. So I don't know. Maybe it's also just a state thing.
Yeah, what can I get for you today? Like, it's a little bit more on the nice but genuine side. Like, I feel like the customer service is a bit more, genuine is the word. Come to another state, I feel like Ellie. I really got a mixed bag where some people are super genuine. Like, they're just like, oh yeah, what can I get you? Like, just plain as it is. But then other people would be over the top, where it's a little bit fake, where it's like, hi, how are you? What can I get for you today? And then as soon as you would leave, their face would just drop. Oh, it just made me feel so icky because I know that they're, working for a tip because they have to, because they're probably not getting paid enough. So they have to be nice.
But are they still being nice to you? They're still being nice to you though. You got to give them that. They're still, even if they don't genuinely mean it in their heart, maybe they just got yelled at in the back, by their manager 5 minutes ago, and they had to come out here, and they could have took it out on you, or they could have forced a smile on their face and been nice to you. I look at it that way because those workers, I swear they get abused by their management. I swear they do.
That they can get the tip, but it comes across really fake and not as genuine. This one actually surprised me because I didn't realize how it had changed in the last 2 years. I found that the hustle culture that I normally associated with California is not really as present as I thought it was. So some of my friends who kind of do the hybrid work from home, work in office, anytime they're working from home, like they're like, oh yeah, like let's go out for coffee, let's take a break, let's do this. I don't need to work as hard. But then some other friends would also be like working hard until 11 p.m. So I feel like it's still a mixed bag where it depends on your employer, it depends on your job, depends on what you're doing. I don't know, it's not as much as I used to think. I used to think that everyone...
It depends on your job, it depends on your own motivation, your own goals. There's a lot that factor into that too.
Was like running around like crazy. I can't fully comment on it because I am here on holiday and I'm hanging out with my friends like after work hours and stuff, but I did notice a little bit of it. I think another thing that I talked a little bit about California for, it didn't really have the same beauty that Australia has. Now, Australia has a lot of beauty, but I feel like their beauty is also in the stuff that they make in terms of like buildings and roads and all that stuff. Like they have a lot of sculptures and interesting things to look at. California doesn't focus so much that on.
If you like sculptures, check out Ellie, I'm speaking to you. My video that I just posted of the coolest house in Illinois. There's this house like 5 miles from me, and it's full of sculptures. An artist designed it all, and he lives there. It's really cool. California does have a lot of beauty. I have been to a lot of beautiful places in California. I have seen a lot of beautiful places on videos of California, and same with Australia. I will say though, what was it? Brisbane. The buildings in Brisbane are amazing. I absolutely love the buildings in Brisbane, Australia. I think those are really cool.
Buildings themselves, other than the Apple campus, I went over by the Apple campus and it was lovely. The design is amazing, but I feel like California's beauty is really from the nature itself. If you're in these suburb kind of areas, it can look a little bit drab, but when you drive a little bit out into more of like the mountains or the hills, that's where you're really truly seeing the California beauty. Yeah, I really talked so much shit about it before I came, but genuinely California is so beautiful. Just especially with the sun shining through all the time. Like you have just like great lighting. The trees are really gorgeous. Birds singing. Everything actually is quite beautiful here. So I will give kudos to California where it is due. California, you're gorgeous. If you want to see more
big
of the
red
pictures and
trees
like
in
more
Northern
of my
California.
day-to-day that I had in California, I'm posting it all on my Instagram, so you can check it out there. And I also posted some fun TikToks too, so you can check out my TikTok as well. It's Ellie Majelli, but with an extra Y at the end, because I can't get into my other account that has the normal Ellie Majelli, so don't follow that one. So if you're liking this video, I do make a lot of different videos about the differences between the US and Australia, and also just generally why I love Australia so much. So if you want to keep updated with the other videos I post, definitely subscribe so you can watch a little bit more. Thank you guys so much for watching. Much love, and I will see you in the next one.
Another great one, Ellie. I'm curious, Ellie, you have to let me know. Have you been to very many other states within the United States, or have you only been in California? If you've been to other states, I'm very curious to know if you've had different type of service in other states, seen different type of beauty in other states, had different experiences that are very different from California, but also within the United States. I'm just very curious if you have, because, you know, I hate to say this, but to the normal average American, California and Florida are kind of like the jokes of the United States. You know what I mean? They're not real. They're not normal. They're not normal in a lot of ways. Yes, there are normal people living in these states and they're living normal lives, but they have way too much craziness too, that it overshadows all the good people that are there, and it makes it a joke. So I'm just curious to know if, like, come to Chicago. I don't live in Chicago. I live in Illinois. But like my closest largest city is Chicago. And it's a very nice city, and it's not as dangerous as people think, unless you're a gang member, and most people are not gang members, so I'm pretty sure you're safe. It's a very wonderful city. I would also say go to Missouri, go to St. Louis, Branson, go to Tennessee, go to the Smoky Mountains in Tennessee, go to where else have I been? Kentucky is beautiful. There's just so many cool places in the States, even places that I have never ever been to personally, but I have either talked to people who have been there, or I've seen it or whatever in photos or videos. And there's just so many cool places in the United States, and so many different people and different cultures and different things that I think that California specifically lacks in a way, just because they were formed so much later, and so there's a lot more, I don't know about culture, there's just more richer culture the farther east you go, I would say, probably. I don't know, usually people that are going out west are like chasing a big dream or something, whereas, you know, everyone else is just kind of living their lives. That's kind of how, I don't know, that's kind of how I see it, at least. Anyway, I mean, I know my uncle, he's from Illinois, and when him and his wife moved to California, the Bay Area, they moved because she can do her job anywhere, and he's in technology, and what is the technology hub of the world is like the Bay Area or like Seattle. And so, you know, he went there for a job, but I'm just saying, usually things are very, very different in California. So I just wanted, and I know you're young, so I don't know like how many places you've experienced, but yeah. Anyway, it is freaking hot as hell in this house, and I turned up the air so that it wouldn't kick on during this, and now I need to turn it back down because I'm sweating a lot. And this video is very long, I apologize, but I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe if you haven't done that yet, and I'll see you next time.